Secretary of State, sadly this could be your swan song today. So
you may know something I don't.
Yeah, but you could use it as an opportunity to demonstrate to the next Prime Minister that you're the right person for the job. So what lessons do you feel we've learned these last 3 years? And what could we do differently in negotiations under the next Prime Minister? And if you're still in post, what would you do differently? And what would you do differently with your department?
Yeah, so I think there's 3 particular areas I'd draw attention to. And hopefully I've tried to do this during my time. So firstly, I think with Parliament, how we engage with Parliament. And I think the more open we can be with Parliament, the better. I think there was a lot of misunderstanding around the withdrawal agreement. I appreciate some colleagues still have ongoing concerns about it, but actually I think there were certain areas where that document was misunderstood. So thinking about how we work with Parliament is one area.
So would you like to see the withdrawal agreement brought back?
Well, I would like to leave with a deal. The question is and I supported the deal 3 times. The question will be whether the House is willing to vote a withdrawal agreement through in its current form, or if there is an amended form available that it will accept. The second area where, and it's a shame actually that John has just gone, but in terms of with the devolved administrations and how we work with them, I think there's been a lot of quantity in terms of JMCs, but I think how we work with the Welsh Government, how we work with the Scottish Government moving forward, particularly in the phase 2 where there's very strong regional interests and also expertise. So, for example, with Jeremy, who represents the Welsh Government, having a very constructive relationship there, I think, is extremely important. And so thinking about the union implications as we go through Brexit, and that's something I'm very keen.
What about the approach to the negotiations then under a new Prime Minister?
Well, I was just coming on to the third to answer the first question, and then we'll come on to the next one. So, and the third area is I think how we engage with those parts of the community that feel left behind. So both regionally, and we use Brexit as a catalyst for change. But also within different groups. I've been reaching out, for example, to ethnic minority groups. The Civics did a roundtable with charities. So how we move from some of the fairly cumbersome approaches in the EU, for example, on the Shared Prosperity Fund, big regional invariance, a huge amount of bureaucracy in the way those schemes are administered, and how we design something that is much more bespoke and tailored to the needs of our civic society and charities and social impact investment, and use Brexit as a catalyst for those parts of the country that feel left behind.
Okay, thank you. So with regarding actually approaching negotiations with the EU, what do you think should be done differently in hindsight?
It's slightly difficult for me to answer that for the simple reason.
Given a free rein.
You're saying, what would I do differently? The negotiation was pretty much concluded before I was appointed. So I was appointed mid-November.
This could be an opportunity for you to, see what you do differently.
It's extremely kind of you. Well, firstly, it would depend if whether we're leaving on a no-deal basis or a revised deal. Obviously, then you're into a phase 2 negotiation. We've done a huge amount of work within the department and across Whitehall in terms of preparation for that phase, and actually it's a chance to thank officials for the work that they've done to prepare for that. But clearly, it will be shaped by whether we're in a deal or no-deal situation.
Just last 2 questions, very short. Thank you. Ursula von der Leyen got elected yesterday with such a low margin, with the support of Eurosceptic parties like the Italian Five Star Movement. What impact do you think this can have on Brexit negotiations?
So, well, I think one area that, as Commission President-elect, she has always recognised in her previous role as German Defence Minister was the importance of the UK from a security perspective. And I think, therefore, that is something very positive that we can build on in terms of recognising that the UK has an important role to play as a neighbour rather than a traditional third country.
Okay. Finally, I'm sure you're pleased. You've been here, nearly 2 hours, so well done. So considering Ursula in post, a new Prime Minister, do you think that we can finally make progress going forward and actually get a deal that's palatable to the British public so we can finally deliver Brexit?
Well, as someone who didn't vote for the deal, it's actually for you to tell me what it is you would find palatable in order to then vote for it. But
you see this as an opportunity now, though. New Prime Minister, this lady's now in post as well, and
yes, no, I think there's. Firstly, I think on both sides there's a recognition that a no deal is undesirable, and so a desire for a deal. I think both sides recognise that. I think a change of Prime Minister, a change of personnel within the Commission, notwithstanding some of the key figures will still be there for the coming months, I think is a fresh opportunity. And yes, I look forward.